Welcome to Search Talk Live with search engine optimization and marketing experts Robert O'Haver and Caleb McKelvin, powered by the Robert Palmer family of companies.
We are back and welcome to the first show of 2016 for Search Talk Live. We are so excited to be back. We've been off for almost 4 weeks now.
Too long.
Yeah,
seems like.
It's crazy. With me on the mic is my co-host Caleb McKelvin. Caleb,
what's up, Mr. Robert? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I am so happy to be back on the show.
Absolutely. 4 weeks was way too long. We are back at it. A lot of excitement leading up to this show as we kick off 2016. Still weird to say that it is 2016. I've still been writing 2015 on checks and everything like that. Still hard to say 2016, but we are here and we are ready to kick this thing off.
Yeah, I am so happy, and I hope that I hope all of our listeners and everybody had a great holiday, Happy New Year,
Absolutely.
And a good New Year. We are coming back with a vengeance, so to speak. We have got so many things going on with the show; it's overwhelming, really. We've got.
The lineup we have is pretty crazy.
Oh man,
we were sitting down talking about it earlier today, just kind of mapping everything out and who is actually going to be coming on the show, and it's basically the who's who of digital marketing and SEO.
Yeah, let's run through it real quick, just so our listeners can hear it.
So you have a lot to look forward to with the show in 2015 towards the end of the year. Last 2 months, actually, we had some really awesome guests. If you haven't heard those, I highly suggest that you go and download them. You can download them through iTunes. You can visit our site, Search Talk Live, and check out old shows. Sprecher, you can get on there and check out old shows. We had a lot of awesome guests at the end of 2015, and it is only getting better in 2016.
Yeah, and while I'm talking, I just want to give you, before I go down this list here, it reads the who's the who of search engine marketing and, everything.
Everything digital marketing.
Yeah, so our show is broadcasted live every Tuesday at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. You can visit us at searchtalklive.com.
Oh, yeah.
You can also download us on iTunes. We are working on a mobile app, and we're even working on possibly being on iHeartRadio, which is going to be huge.
That would be awesome.
Oh, man.
That would be absolutely awesome.
And I think it's going to happen. I hope it does. I'm going to cross my fingers.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and just the support we're getting from our listeners and everything, it's just overwhelming. But so here's the list. Next week we have, and he was supposed to be, by the way, Sean was supposed to be on the show this week, but unfortunately he had an important meeting that he couldn't miss. But he is going to come next week. We did have a slot open, luckily, for him to come on next week. But anyway, we have the co-founder of Blab, Sean Perry. That's going to be next Tuesday at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. Then, everybody knows this guy. On the 19th, we have Rand Fishkin.
Oh, yeah.
On January 19th.
Yeah. And just sorry to interrupt you, Robert. If you have not checked out Blab yet, you need to go check it out because it is a really cool tool. I've read some really awesome posts on, what it is and really going in depth about it. But go check it out. I think it's blab.im. I think it's still in beta mode, but it's something I know you and I use pretty consistently just to see who's talking about, our industry, who's out there, we can connect with, build relationships with. It's any industry out there. There's people talking, and it's live video. You can chat with it, share it on Twitter, and everything like that. It's really cool, and it's something you really do need to check out. So it's going to be a really cool interview next week and show next week. Yeah,
it's really a great platform for you if you're an expert or you just want to get your message out and do some kind of, it's called a blab.
Yeah.
You can, preach what you know and teach others and help other people. And I do that every Friday, actually, at Friday evenings.
Yeah, it's really cool. If you like have chat rooms or if you're in forums or anything like that and you're really consistent with somebody, hop on Blab and just talk to them because you're allowing other people, because, it's open to anybody on there, and you're allowing other people to, see you, see what you're talking about, see what you're doing, and kind of build your brand and your authority that way.
Yep, absolutely. And then, like I said, we got Rand Fishkin.
Who's that?
He's the co-founder of Moz. He is a consultant, and he does a lot of public speaking.
Yeah, very good at it, too.
Has been in the SEO industry for, I think, 15 years.
Yeah, I've heard that man talk a few times now, and he speaks very well.
Very insightful.
Very insightful.
Yeah.
If he ever wants to kind of coach people on how to public speak, he'd be really good at it.
Yeah,
I wish I could talk like that. I can't.
And that's just talking about Rand. If you talk about Moz, if you listen to the show, we talk about it every week.
Yes, we do. Moz.
We are a big Moz fan. But anyway, the next person is Tim Schmoyer. He is a certified YouTube audience growth expert. And if you're looking to be an expert on YouTube, or just to show yourself as an influencer, your company or brand, he's going to tell us how you can do that and how to be successful on YouTube, even if you just want to be a gamer or whatever it may be.
Right. But for business, it can be a real powerful platform.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And so he's going to be on the 26th of January. And then on the 2nd of February, Joost de Valk. He is if you guys have ever heard of WordPress, that's sarcasm. If you've ever heard of WordPress, he is the creator of Joost, which is probably one of the most downloaded plugins for WordPress. He is going to be on the show. And talking about his plugin and just kind of giving us more information and what, all the new updates that he's given, that he's been doing, and
makes SEO for beginners, especially, kind of lays it out for them.
Yeah,
it's a really, really awesome thing, even for advanced SEO and digital marketers. It's something I know pretty much 99% of them used with their WordPress site. It's really, really awesome plugin. I can't wait for that one because we're going to get a lot of insight. We got a lot of questions for him. I know that. And he's going to have a lot of information. So it's going to be a pretty awesome show.
Yep. And then so far, the last person, but not least for sure, Bruce Clay. Bruce Clay, those of you who don't know who Bruce Clay is, he's been in the industry probably longer than most anybody in the SEO industry. And he actually is the one who coined the phrase search engine optimization. So that kind of tells you
how long he's been in it. Yeah. So that's crazy.
I mean, this guy is so intelligent. He gives great insight into the industry, great advice. I mean, he's going to come on the show, and I mean, just like Rand Fishkin, I mean, he can really give us a lot of good information.
I always like talking with individuals who have been in the industry for a long time, because it seems like, it kept changing over the years and adapting and stuff like that. Now it seems more frequently that it is changing and adapting, and you have to stay on top of it. But they've pretty much seen everything, and Bruce Clay is definitely one guy that has seen a lot and has a lot of insight, a lot of information. And if you are either new to SEO and digital marketing and SEM, or you've been in it for a long time, that's one you're not going to want to miss.
Yeah, and Bruce, well, actually all of these guys on the list really they go around traveling. They do MozCon, they do SMX, they do PubCon, all those online marketing conventions.
Yeah.
And our speakers. These guys are the authority on, digital marketing.
They're going to be right here on Search Talk Live.
Yeah, I'm so flabbergasted.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Yeah.
And we keep getting more. So we're trying to book up for February. The rest of February, we have half of February to go in March. And all that good stuff.
Right.
But yeah, so I want to thank everyone for their support in the show, because honestly, when we started this thing, we thought, okay, we'll probably make it to 20 episodes and we're done.
Yeah.
But it's just,
we thought we were going to run out of stuff.
Yeah.
And here we are, man, going strong and excited about the new year.
Yeah.
And, if you ever want to get in touch with us, you can connect with us on Twitter. I know I'm at CJ_MCE, or you can even email me, Caleb at Search Talk Live. And you also get in touch with Robert if you have any suggestions, questions. If you feel like somebody might be a good guest on our show that has a lot of insight, we always like looking and seeing who else is out there in the industry that has some information. So feel free to get in touch with us.
Yep, and we're going to be taking on new sponsors and all kinds of stuff this year. It's just exciting.
Absolutely.
But if you want to call in to the show, and ask questions or even bring up a topic. The number is 855-722-0006. It's 855-722-0006, option 1.
Option 1.
Yeah, now, and Search Talk Live is brought to you by the Robert Palmer family of companies, and you can visit robertpalmercompanies.com. And, boy, I'm glad we got notes there.
Yeah. Big shout out to Robert Palmer and the Robert Palmer family of companies and helping us have an awesome 2015 and helping us power us through 2016. You definitely want to check out robertpalmercompanies.com. A lot of cool stuff there, a wide range of companies that can help you in all types of things. So definitely seek them out. But let's get to the show, Rob. We got a lot of good stuff today. Some news that we ran into and some other things.
Yeah,
kind
hot
of
off
our outlook for 2016. So let's jump on in.
Yeah, it's been announced just about 4 hours ago that Twitter is, in fact, expanding their character count. It's going to be, they're throwing 140 out the door, and the rumor says that 10,000 characters is now going to be the limit.
I just don't believe that.
That's going to ruin the whole platform.
Yeah, just like you said, and the first thing you said when you read that was, well, basically you can write a blog post on Twitter now, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
But first of all, when I first read that, I said people say a lot of stupid things in 140 characters.
Right.
Now you're giving them an unlimited amount of space to say all the stupid things that they want to. And we really don't want to do that. You know, if really Twitter wants to do anything, they probably need to cut down. But, it can be tough to get anything that you want to say into that 140. The thing I really like about it is,
I don't know, I've gotten pretty creative with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Individuals that get creative with it are the individuals that are successful. And you have to have that sense of creativity to really be successful with Twitter, to, bring that engagement from your audience. To reach your audience, to portray what you're trying to say. You have to get creative with it. I think extending it is kind of a bad idea.
I don't know. I would like to see 160, 170, maybe 200, but to 10,000 characters, it's going to ruin the whole platform.
No, there's no way.
That's got to be a rumor.
Yeah.
But
anyway, I think they do need to make some changes. Now, what those are, I can't say. It's like you think that, there needs to be changes to our educational system. And when somebody asks you what they are, you say, I don't know, just something needs to change. I think something does need to change. Extending a little bit, like you said, instead of the 140, maybe a 160, so you can fit a little bit of extra in, might be a good idea. And I think it might help. But if you give somebody just an unlimited range to write whatever they want to and kind of fill it with all this spammy content and all this other stuff, no, they need to shut that idea down quick.
Yeah, no, definitely. But they're saying by the end of Q1, this quarter, they will be releasing that. And to what extent, we don't know. But definitely going to be more than 140.
Yeah, which is not bad. No. The other thing with Twitter, and if you've known this recently, if you run a blog website, whatever, is they took the share count away on blog posts on your website. And I'm not going to lie, it kind of ticks me off that they took that out, because I like to know the types of engagements right there. And I also like my readers to know, because I think that is kind of a little bit significant when I'm a reader and I hop onto a post and I'm reading. I was like, oh, this is pretty good. How many people are actually sharing this? And you can't see how many people are sharing it. Yeah. It might have been not done well on Facebook, might have done pretty good on Twitter. You got a bunch of shares. I'm not going to lie. When I see a lot of people sharing it, and I really like the post, I'm like, you know what? It kind of gives me that little extra push to be like, this, I should share this with my audience
or write more about it.
Or write more about it. But they took that share kind of away. Now, I know there's other ways you can find how many shares it does have, BuzzSumo and all these other tools like that. But I don't know. It kind of upset me that they took that away. If you are a digital marketer, listening, content marketer, whatever you may do, and you're kind of ticked off about it too, I'd like you to call in so you can kind of share your thoughts on it, because, if anybody else is kind of ticked off like me, let's talk about it. But I wish they would bring that back. And I hope Facebook and Google Plus and all those don't follow suit.
Well, you can still look at your personal account.
You can.
Analytics, but
I'm talking about for people coming onto the site.
Sure.
They took that away. And I think people like to see how much stuff is trending or sharing and stuff like that. And when they can't see that, I think it does have might not be a significant impact, but I think there is, even it has minute as it may be, there's some type of impact there.
Yeah, I think one thing that Twitter needs to work on is the way they do their advertising.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not, I don't know. I've just not had that much experience with it. I mean, not experience, but luck with it. And I don't know. I just think there's got to be a better way for them to do the advertising, but I don't have the answer.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. We don't have the answer.
Not that I'm saying it's bad for everybody, but I'm just saying, I myself personally haven't had that much luck with it. So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So the number to call is 855-722-0006. Call in with your questions, or you want to bring up a topic. Today we are going to be talking about our predictions for 2016.
Yeah. Predictions, insights, what we're looking forward to, maybe challenges we see ahead.
Yeah.
And I like this one. These type of articles are all over the place, and I've probably read, I'd say, 10 to 15 of them about, everybody's got what's going to happen in 2016, what to look out for, stuff like this. And by all means, if you have stuff that you think everybody should be looking out for, some insight, please go ahead and call in, because we might have missed something, or, if you think it's important or relevant, we'd like to hear it too and discuss it with you. But there's a lot out there. We kind of narrowed it down on what we're going to be looking out for and what we think is going to be happening with it. And so, there's some cool stuff. But there's a lot that's going to be happening, but we can't cover it all, obviously. But you got anything, Rob, as far as what you see?
I see a lot of changes with the next Penguin release.
Yeah.
As far as links and stuff go, and because of Rank Brain, there it is. Yes, I got it right. Because of Rank Brain and it being automated, I think that a lot of people are going to find themselves in penalties.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, they'll be able to get out of them faster, I believe, but I think it is going to be real. It's not going to be once a year or twice a year update. It's constant rolling out. So
yeah,
those red flags for Google are going to come up faster, and those changes are going to be dynamic.
Right. I think that's kind of a double-edged sword, because, like you said, whether you've done kind of spammy link building or not, just kind of find that you do have some in there, and you get that red flag and you get that penalty. I think with the consistent updates, there's going to be more opportunities to clear that and get out of it.
Well, yeah,
and so you'll have those opportunities. Yeah. But it wants you to stay consistent in analyzing your link profile, and especially if back in the day you still haven't cleaned out all this other stuff. You might have you've done these social bookmarks. You might have done all this other stuff that 5-6 years ago was okay, and now it's it's pretty spammy. If you haven't cleaned that out, you might want to start doing that, because I think you're right. The more that develops and the smarter Rank Brain gets, I think more people are going to find themselves in a penalty. Yeah,
and also, like you said, double-edged sword. They'll get out of it just as quickly.
Yeah.
Because they're not waiting for the next update, and it's going to make people kind of adopt to a more white hat approach, and I think the other thing I see coming is the more relevancy on links is going to be more emphasized as far as links to your site.
Right.
Are they just coming from anywhere, or are they coming from relevant other sites? I mean, they haven't had a lot of emphasis on that, but I see that coming very soon.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not earning it, if you're just paying for it or doing some simple stuff, or having some spammy stuff, if you're not actually earning some links, then that's not a good thing. And if you're not developing content and other things that people actually want to link to naturally, then that's not a good thing. If you're doing those two things, then you're good. And you're developing real nice, clean, authoritative links. But if you're not, you might want to adjust your strategy and really kind of go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, we harp on this a lot too. I mean, when you're building links or earning links, so to speak, you want to make sure that there's a reason you need that link on that site. Is it going to bring you traffic, or is it just to get a link?
Right.
You've got to have the mindset that it's to benefit your site on a bringing traffic to your site mentality.
Right.
Forget about the search engines, because if you get quality links to your site and they're coming from quality relevant sites and they're bringing people to your site, to me, that's what makes a link value. And that's going to make your site rank higher.
Relevancy is always key.
Yeah.
I mean, you want it to be relevant.
There's more to it than just a link to your site.
Yeah. I mean, it feels good to earn a link, but if it's doing nothing for you, then, it's pointless. It's a ranking factor. It's a major ranking factor. But like you said, it's got to have its purpose. And if you have a link with no purpose that you didn't earn or wasn't linked to you through some pretty awesome content that you put out, then, it's not going to serve any purpose.
Right. And then the other thing I see probably stepping up to they will be stepping up on is, yes, you have your mobile website, but the UI, the UX experience of that site from a mobile standpoint, I think they're going to kind of button down on, because a lot of people, what happens is they build a site in WordPress or something and they go, oh, it's responsive or it's mobile friendly, but they don't really look at the UX and how it's laid out and how someone goes through the site and, the conversion funnel and all that other stuff.
Right.
And how it loads on a tablet and all this stuff. They just go, oh, I'm responsive, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But
they really need to go back and look at the way the site is structured, the way it looks on mobile. Is it user friendly? Can they navigate it easy? Can they find what they're looking for easy? I think that's going to be a more emphasis because mobile's not going away. In fact, it's going to surpass desktop usage in 2016.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Everybody's mobile. Everything is mobile. And like you said, a lot of people set their sites up in WordPress, and it is responsive.
Sure.
But, like you said, there's no funnel. There's no, the layout, the user experience is just terrible, and you're hurting yourself big time. Everything's going mobile. It's crazy how everything's going mobile. You can check out your traffic in analytics, and I guarantee you there's a high percentage that is mobile. And so I think that's a big thing to focus on in 2016, which might sound cliche, and some of the more advanced SEOs might be rolling their eyes and say, okay, yeah, we get it. Everybody's going mobile and stuff like that. But you need to put a huge emphasis on it and always go through that experience yourself on your mobile device and on your tablet and, really see how the user is interacting with it. Is it leading into the right funnel? Is it, is the content laid out correctly? Is there anything kind of looking funny, anything like that? Because the user experience on mobile is going to be huge.
Yeah, it's got to be easy to navigate.
Yeah.
And it's got to be easy. Google knows this stuff. It's got your stats.
Yeah.
So, it's just make it phase 2. Okay, you made your site mobile. Now go back and tweak it. Make it better. Because then you have... Once mobile is spot on, it's just good.
Right.
Good, good practice.
We've all been to those mobile sites that are extremely hard to navigate and are, frankly ugly, and it turns us off quickly. And either on desktop, mobile, or tablet, they're not going to revisit that site because they had an awful experience with it. And so that's going to be a huge thing as we move forward. It has been a huge thing. And like Robert said, mobile is going to surpass desktop probably pretty quickly and soon. So having that user experience is huge.
The other thing, too, is loading. Make sure the site loads fast. If there's things that don't look right in mobile, turn it off. So when it goes to mobile, it doesn't, for example, a big banner across the top of your website. If it shrinks down and you should just get rid of it, make it disappear. After
you want it clean and to the point on your mobile site. So and people are getting to your site in so many different ways through Facebook, Twitter, all types of social media and stuff like that. So that mobile is going to take over.
Yeah, and then the other thing too, I would like to say, would be the advertising experience on mobile. I think that's still got some ways to go. To me, for example, if I'm playing a game on my phone and this ad pops up, half the time those things are set so you accidentally click on the ad, and then that person's getting paid, has to pay for that click. So it doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
I think they need to put some emphasis on making that a better experience as well, and making legitimate clicks, from advertising. So they put them in a place. Yeah, obviously you want to put it where people are going to see it, but it's a small screen, so wherever you put it, somebody's going to see it. Make sure it's the right size, but don't make it where it's kind of like you accidentally click on it when you're going through an app or something.
Yeah.
I think that needs work.
Yeah.
For Google and everybody.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then another thing we can harp on too is content. I think that in my eyes anyway, I think people need to focus more on quality,
right,
and less on quantity,
right.
Because the competition in content is going to be even worse this year than, obviously the more time goes by, the worse it gets. But if you focus more on the quality of and what you're talking about, you'll see a better result, I think. Yeah.
Well, I mean, content it's such a crazy thing. Everybody has said everything and done everything under the sun, it seems like, in every single industry, and coming up with something unique, as much as I'm starting to hate that word, unique content, it's very, very difficult because you're trying to set yourself apart from your competition and other websites. One thing I really did like when I was reading through these all 2016 lists and everything like that was an article I read on SEMrush on interactive content and how that's going to rule. And okay, it got me straight, kind of thinking interactive content. Let's do some research on interactive content. And it's actually, I think they're right on how interactive content is going to take over. And basically, it's how a user is engaging with your content, whether they're reading it, watching it, listening to it, downloading it. Are they doing a quiz? Are they putting numbers in a calculator? Are they answering questions? Are you striking an emotion? How are you engaging? How are you wanting your audience to engage with your content or interact with your content? And I think that's really going to drive how people set themselves apart and how you can set yourself apart from the competition. The only thing is something like this takes a lot of preparation, takes a lot of thought, and you really have to hone in on who your audience is, what you want them to get out of it, and the data you want to get from it. And so interactive content is going to be, I think, really big as we move forward through 2016, and it's going to place a big factor on the whole user experience.
Yeah, I don't remember the site, but the article you sent me today, that thing was so cool.
Oh, it was so awesome.
It was done in HTML5, and there was just some crazy things going in the background. It was just awesome.
Yeah, I was doing some research on native advertising, which was a question brought up to us a little while ago, and it's something I really didn't have much information on. And so I did a little research on it, and I forgot what site it was on, but
it was BuzzFeed?
I might actually have it right here. It was Wired.com. Wired.com. They had a native advertising post from Netflix, basically how much Americans are watching TV, but you scroll down and the thing shattered and went into the content. I mean, that just blew my mind. Like, I know it's 2016 and stuff like that, and we're rolling around on these little boards and everything, and we got hover cars now, and some dude built his self-driving car in like 3 hours or so. I don't know if you saw that article. Built a self-driving car in his garage, and that's mind-blowing, but I was totally blown away about how you scroll down and just shattered and went into so that was really cool. You told me to talk about user experience, but the interactive content is huge because basically once you get them to start that interaction, you kind of like suck them in, you don't really give them a reason to kind of escape from it. If they want to start something, most likely they're going to see it through. And so if you give them that interaction, I think you're going to not only enhance the user experience, but you're going to set yourself apart from the competition and increase that content and content marketing. Yeah,
the only thing I'd have to say about that one particular article is it kind of takes your focus off of the article and makes you kind of like, whoa, wow, what's going on around me? You know, and it does.
But it was an ad. I don't think the content necessarily mattered.
Sure.
Netflix did that one right. Drop on Netflix.
Right.
But I read there's a couple of awesome quotes on interactive interactive content that really struck me. And Scott Brinker from Ion Interactive really said it right. Well, I said it's by its very nature, interactive content engages participants in an activity, whether it's answering a question, making a choice, exploring scenarios, and it's a great way to capture attention right from the start. Individuals have to think and respond. They just can't snooze through it. And I think that was an awesome summary of what it actually is, because you go through and reading an article, you can kind of get bored with it, or you'll kind of read the highlights of it. You know, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I read some of these SEO articles and I'll just read the bullet points or just the bold sections. And I'll be like, okay, I know what this is or whatever. And I'll probably miss the whole concept of the article. But when you give them that interactive, when you give them that scenario, you make them make a choice, answer questions, do a quiz, do something, instead of just go read through it and kind of boringly and, you know, not do anything with it. But you give them that interaction, you're going to strike something with them. And, you know, like I said, set yourself apart. That interactive content is going to be a big, big plus in your content strategy and your content marketing strategy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, studies do show that, you know, people scan.
People do scan, yeah.
They scan a lot, and they look for the points and to get there. That's why you only have less than 30 seconds to get somebody's attention when it comes to, you know, a business online.
And the one thing I was looking at and kind of just thought off my head, if you're doing these things and say you do a quiz or you have a calculator or something like that, just the information that you're receiving, you're gaining a lot of data from those.
Sure.
You know, whether it's, you know, type of content you can write, or if you're doing a calculator for a mortgage or a loan or something of that nature, you're getting that information back, kind of what your demographics are that are coming to your site, kind of what they have. There's so much data that you can get from that. Oh, yeah. Not only is it beneficial for your user, but it's going to be beneficial for you and drive the direction of, you know, where you're going with your content, your site, your target audience, and everything like that. So having that data, you know, it's going to benefit you big time, and it's something that is worth the investment.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, that's our outtake on content, as far as that goes. But if you want to call in and talk about the discussion we're talking about now, call us at 855-722-0006, option 1. Again, it's 855-722-0006, option 1.
Yeah, especially if you're having issues with content and content marketing, call on in, because I know we're on the show. I have issues with content and content marketing. I mean, everybody does. I think that's in this industry. And so you really have to, talking with others is something that helps you get through those and maybe see a different point of view, different perspective, and adjust your strategy as you move forward. And so it's definitely something to talk about. So if you would like to talk about content, interactive content, maybe you're doing it. If you are doing it and you've seen positive results from that, please call in, because we'd like to talk about that. I know I did one the other day. I think it was on Search Engine Journal, and where they have a quiz on, are you a SEO guru or not?
Yeah.
That's interactive content right there.
Yeah.
And probably what they're going to get from that is the people that are reading their stuff, you know, are they a novice? You know, are they advanced? Are they, you know, all that kind of stuff, which is going to help them drive their content on, you know, where they need to go with it. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Moz does that too.
Yeah. So yeah, if you are just tuning in, you are listening to Search Talk Live with Caleb McKelvin and Robert O'Haver. Search Talk Live is powered by the Robert Palmer family of companies. You can go to robertpalmercompanies.com, see a lot of cool stuff. I highly suggest that you visit and see what Robert Palmer family of companies has in store for you. A lot of awesome stuff. 855-722-0006. Call on in. Option 1, you will be directed to our main man, Dave, who will get you to us and get you on air when you do call in. So, yeah.
Yeah, you can also visit our website, searchtalklive.com. Under the section that says Meet Our Sponsors, we have our sponsors listed there as well.
Yes. And also check that out.
Yeah, and on the homepage, you can see our up-and-coming interviews. We are going to be adding some things to it, you know, calendar, so you can mark it on your calendar so you don't forget. If it's something you don't want to, you know, it's out of sight, out of mind type of thing.
No.
But, yeah, and we're going to be adding some more stuff to our blog and all kinds of good stuff. But, yeah.
A lot of good stuff, man. Search Talk Live. Make sure and follow us on Twitter. I don't think we promote that enough. At Search Talk Live. Yep. Go hit us up. Connect with us on Twitter. You can always send us your questions, your comments, whether they're good or bad. We love criticism as well. But if you really like us and wanted to show us as well, that's cool. We always welcome that. And at Search Talk Live or on Facebook, hit us up on Search Talk Live. Always love to hear from you.
Yeah, and if you are an influence and you have something you want to talk about,
yes,
we are a great sounding board.
Yes,
we love to have people on that can give unique advice and content on search engine marketing, search engine optimization, social media, you name it, conversion optimization. We cover it all here. We try to do this every week, and let me tell you, sometimes it's hard. Yeah. But that's why we bring people of influence and from the business, and then try to help others online be successful.
Absolutely. One more thing I wanted to touch on, and I forgot about this, Robert, on the whole interactive content. I did find this the other day, and it's actually, I believe it's a book, article, something of that nature. It's called Interactive Content and the Buyer's Journey. It's from Oracle Marketing Cloud and SnapApp. But they have the 3 stages of interactive marketing, and you might want to make a note of this or something of that. I know I did. I have this saved because I think this is pretty cool. But basically, they have the first stage, which is the awareness stage, where a user is in research mode and is likely to engage in polls, self-assessments, and knowledge tests. So those are 3 things that you can use. People love polls, love self-assessments. They love especially knowledge tests. Those are one things I really like to do, especially in my own industry, is how much do I know compared to other professionals. Sometimes I find out I don't know as much. Sometimes I find out I know more. So I think it's a good way for them to assess themselves. An evaluation stage where a buyer will take to benchmark assessments, interactive white papers, persona assessments, and then the decision stage, which is the critical buying stage, where you got ROI calculators, galleries, product pickers, and surveys to help guide their decision making. And so I thought those were really cool stages and kind of a guide to help you in, okay, well, when people are visiting your site, what stage are they in, or how do you guide them through all 3 stages? So pretty cool.
It's a lot to cover.
A lot to cover.
What else you got? You see anything else?
Oh, yeah. I was going through this. I did see one that I highly agree with, and that is your job as a content marketer will become increasingly difficult. And I think basically overall your job as a digital marketer, SEO, SEM, and the entire thing is going to become increasingly different and difficult. But as a content marketer, I think that is going to hold true, that it is going to be increasingly difficult just because the amount of content that is being published, the amount of content that is being written, the amount of content that is being shared and sent to people, it's growing and it continues to grow. And honestly, it's growing at a crazy rate. And so it's going to be very competitive to actually get your content seen, your voice heard, and your stuff noticed. I mean, it's crazy how much is out there, and people are really kind of sticking to their circles. And actually getting into somebody's circle is the difficult part. But once you do get into somebody's circle, you've kind of not necessarily made it, but you've made a step in the right direction big time.
Right. Well, what I meant was they need to stay in the relevancy of what they do.
Absolutely.
Or what their target audience is, because you can't just blog to blog. You need to stay focused on a certain industry or topic or that type of thing. You can't be all over the place.
Yeah.
Because that's where it becomes really hard for a blogger, because unless you stay laser focused on what your niche is or what you'd like to blog about, it becomes increasingly more difficult to compete with those other niches.
I think a lot of sites, especially the authority sites right now, are kind of taken to the mindset of be careful who your friends are. And for good reason. I think that's a country song, be careful who your friends are. Your mama sang it to you or something like that. But they're being careful who their friends are. And so getting in those, actually relationship building, actually communication, nothing automated. It's all about communication, building relationships, and using those relationships to amplify your content. And so, it's definitely going to be increasingly difficult. There's going to be a challenge there for you to actually get your content seen, get your voice heard. But before you even get started, I think you need to understand your amplification strategy. How are you going to get this out? Also, what message are you trying to send with this content? What is the purpose of the content? Is it answering a question? Are you providing data? Is it going to be interactive content? What is the purpose of it, and who is it for? There's so many questions you have to answer on the front end, and how am I going to get it to them? So really, what's the whole purpose of this content, and how are you going to amplify it? What's your amplification strategy? How are you going to get it out there? And your clean outreach strategy. So before you even put pen to paper or fingers to keys, I guess you should say, you have to get all this stuff situated. If you just create a piece of content, or, you just think you're going to do this outreach to somebody and then they're going to like it, or they're going to let you in their circle, or they're going to see your content, I'm pretty sure you're going to be pretty upset by the results because you're not going to get any. And so mapping out everything on the front end, really answering these questions before you even start on who you're trying to reach, how you're trying to send it, what's the purpose of the content, what you want them to do with that content, who is it for, and then how are you going to amplify that content needs to be on the forefront before you even get started with actually writing the content.
Yeah, and one thing that you've been really good at, Caleb, is amplifying. I mean, like one of the things you use is like Haro.
Yeah. I love that thing.
You're on that all the time, and that's a great place to get some really great exposure for your site.
Yeah.
Are you as a content writer?
It's definitely, I've actually built some relationships through that site. And it's an awesome way you got direct communication with them. And if you're providing them exactly what they're looking for, they're being very insightful, you can build that relationship right there where somebody you can be consistent with, and having that consistency and knowing that, okay, well, this person, we can have this relationship. I can contribute with them. They can help me. They also know other people. Word of mouth is becoming big time now, where, you have that backing from some authoritative site or authoritative person. Having that backing is huge. But yeah, that's an awesome tool to use. And if you are in content marketing and link building and you haven't checked that out, you definitely need to. Help a reporter out. Haro is an awesome tool.
Yeah, talk about getting in someone's circle. You're definitely.
And there's some big time
can get you in some great places.
Big time writers, editors on that site. But yeah, I think content marketing it's going to be challenging in 2016, and that it's going to continue to be challenging. You're going to have to get creative with it.
Yeah, but focus on quality.
Yes, absolutely. It's quality. Quantity is not big. People worry about, I got to get so much of this out. But like you said, it's not quality at all. It's not quantity at all. I'm sorry. It's all about quality and answering those questions and having those questions answered before you even start creating that content.
Yeah, and you're going to find, and I've seen this before, and Caleb, you could probably back me on this.
Yeah.
If you put out, let's say you're just a one-person band, you're the only one putting out content for that website, and you're trying to kill yourself putting out 5 articles a week.
Yeah.
But you find yourself not getting a lot of traffic to those 5 articles. I can almost guarantee if you took the time and wrote maybe 1 or 2 articles and focused on the quality and the content, that you're going to get more traffic out of those 2 articles as opposed to those 5. Just simply because you took that extra time it takes to put out good information.
Yeah. Really doing your research, your homework, really answering those questions with 2 pieces of content a week, and then understanding your amplification strategy, which means right when that content's done, you're hitting the road with it, and you know exactly where you're going, what you're doing, how you're getting it out there, exactly. and really understanding, how you're going to measure your ROI and everything like that. That's huge because, you have that direction. Yeah. It's a must. I've been there where I've put stuff out with no amplification strategy and been like, well, okay, all right, well, let's do this. Let's try this and see what we get. And it wastes time. It wastes effort when you could be doing a lot of other things.
Sure.
And so, that's a mindset I think you really need to take as you move forward. It's something I'm definitely going to continue working on as I move through 2016. But it's a big time.
And I mean, especially with these algorithms now, I mean, if you're pumping out something you read off another article that's just basically the same thing, Google's not going to rank it. But if you took the time and you do the detail and, just those fine little nuances that article needs, you're going to see a huge difference, because then Google's going to like, wow, this is informative.
Yeah.
This is great information. I'm going to rank this person or this article because it's just really good information. And it happens. So, it's not every time, but it's going to happen.
Yeah. I guess the best thing I could say about it is actually Steve Rayson. He's the director at BuzzSumo, which if he wants to come on the show, Steve, if you're out there, give us a call. We'll get you on the show. Oh, I love BuzzSumo. Always use BuzzSumo for a lot of stuff. But in a recent article he was quoted in on ExpressWriters.com, he said, in 2016, the battle for content engagement will be won or lost before any content is even written. And I think he's hit the nail on the head with that one. Before any content's even written, it'll be won or lost. So I think that's something really to take to heart as you develop and adjust your content marketing strategy.
Yep. That was really insightful, Caleb. I'm glad you brought that up. What do we got up next? Let's see. We got about 14 minutes, right?
Yeah, something like that. Okay. If you want to call into the show, please do so. 855-722-0006. 855-722-0006. Option 1, and you will be directed to our main man, Dave. You are listening to Search Talk Live with Caleb McKelvin and Robert O'Haver.
Yeah, and right now we're talking about content marketing, but, if you're a content writer or a blogger or anything, call in, please.
If you have any questions, concerns, insights for 2016, please call on in. We'd love to talk about them with you. There's so much going on. SEO, SEM, digital marketing, social media. They're all big monsters to tackle. And the good thing about SEO and what we do is there's a lot of people with a lot of knowledge in a lot of different areas. And Robert has his things that he is awesome at, very good at. I have things that I can do. I wouldn't say I'm awesome at, but I can do and have experience doing. I'm sure some of you out there are very well versed in other areas of SEO and digital marketing, and we'd love to hear from you and talk about it with you.
There's also things I suck at, too.
Don't we all?
To put it bluntly.
Don't we all? Well, one of the things, like I think we had mentioned earlier, was native advertising. And my brother actually called in a few months ago and wanted to talk about native advertising. It's not really something I have a lot of. David, if you're listening, what's up, man? David is a managing partner at Higher Visibility, which is an SEO firm. But yeah, he brought this question up about native advertising, and there's been a lot of developments in native advertising and what it is. And it's kind of crazy. It is advertising that does not appear like advertising. And I know you're that's really your expertise, is the advertising side of things. And it's sponsored content and sponsored posts and stuff like that. It's advertising, but it can be very deceptive to look like regular editorial content.
And I've fallen into that trap several times.
Yeah.
I'd get halfway through an article, I'm like, oh my God, this is an ad.
Yeah. But it's crazy.
Works.
And we hate ads. We hate them. You see commercials, you see stuff like that, you just hate them. But I hate to tell you, ads are in everything. They're all around you. They are a part of this world. They are online. They're on your phone. They're in your email. They're on television. I think they're fun. It was so funny. I asked my wife where she wanted to eat the other day, and she said bonefish. Neither one of us were on our phones. Neither one of us did anything. I got on my phone 2 seconds later and was scrolling through Facebook. The first ad that popped up was bonefish. And I said, they can hear us. They literally can hear us now. They're following us around. And so I got rid of all the cameras in my house. I got rid of phone. No, I'm just kidding. But it was crazy. It's like
phone's mic or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I got an Xbox in my room. I was like, are they looking at me through this? But it's crazy that they were they're falling. It's just, that's how it feels. Like if you do something, of course, that's, retargeting and all that kind of stuff. But ads are all around you. But negative advertising is a way to advertising, well, not look like you're advertising. And if you go on a lot of these sites, especially these big sites, it is everywhere. And that was one of the articles we were talking about earlier where everything exploded. When you scroll down, it was an article sponsored by Netflix. Well, you really don't realize till you're halfway through when Netflix is following you around the site that it's actually an ad. And so I think it's something that's really big. And some crazy stats on it is, and it was from sharethrough.com is where I found these stats, is consumers looked at native ads 53% more frequently than display ads. And so they can notice the display ads, but they're not really noticing the native advertising as much and considering it the same as editorial content on that site.
Yeah, I'd like to know, and I don't have the experience on this, but how that native advertising does as far as ranking.
Yeah.
Does Google know it's native advertising and it doesn't rank it, or how that works?
Yeah. And some of you might know that. I don't know if Dave knows that. Dave, if you're listening, call on in, let us know what you think. But yeah, if it is even a ranking factor, I would probably say for it being advertising, it's not going to have a ranking factor. But
it's content.
It's content. It's content. But are they able to decipher whether it is, paid advertising and all this other, if it's actually an ad, or are they considering it quality content?
Right.
And so, I mean, it's just crazy stats. That's nuts. 25% more consumers were measured to look at in-feed native ads and placements more than standard banners. And so as you move forward, this might be something in your advertising budget that you might want to consider, because it seems that since native advertising basically matches the form and function as the platform it appears on, if it appears on Washington Post, it's going to look like actual content from Washington Post. If it appears on Wired.com, it's going to look like Wired.com. If it appears on whatever site, it's going to look like that site. So you might not necessarily recognize it off the bat as paid advertising, but you'll see all this stuff where it actually is a paid ad. And I also believe, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, that we all love our ad blocker, but these things make it through the ad blocker as well. And so you might want to try to get rid of them, but you're not going to.
But you know what you can do? Like, as a blogger or a content writer, you can learn a lesson from those native advertisements.
Yeah.
Because if you're writing for a specific business or something like that, you can take a lot of key factors out of that and learn how to write. Because, I've seen a couple times where you're reading through it and they're actually promoting a product or a service. So, you can take a lot of notes from that in your writing if you're writing for a company that sells a service or product or anything like that, because it's leading them into a conversion.
Right.
Yeah. And ultimately that's what a blogger, somebody blogging for a business is trying to do.
Yeah.
And you can take a lot of key factors. Because it's talent. It's a gifted talent to write, to sell a product, and it's a whole different type of writing.
It really is. It takes a specific talent. But yeah, you're exactly right. So, native advertising is something I'm definitely going to kind of stay with, read up on and everything, stay consistent with it, kind of see the developments of it. I think there's still a lot of questions out there on it. On what it is, how it affects SEO, if it affects SEO in any way, or if it's just strictly advertising. So it's something I definitely want to keep up with. And it's just, and I think the one thing that people are getting from it is it's more visually engaging than an ad. People are going to interact with it more than just a banner ad on your site. That sponsored content's actually going to get them to engage with it.
I think that'd be great to have somebody on the show that actually writes that type of stuff.
I would love to have somebody on the show.
Yeah, it would be huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the number to call in, and we have about 6 minutes left. The number to call in is 855-722-0006. If you want to bring up a topic or ask a question, we are here to answer those. You can also hit us up on Twitter at Search Talk Live. You can listen to the podcast at on iTunes, Spreaker.com.
Yeah.
And you can also listen to SoundCloud. We're on there.
Yep.
We're working on getting on iHeartRadio. Hopefully that will happen sometime soon. We are down to about 5 minutes.
Yep. If you are new to the show, and this is the first show, 2016 is your first show, I highly suggest you go back and really listen to some of the older stuff that we did in 2015, especially towards the end of the year, because we had some awesome stuff on there, especially if you're new to the industry, because we had a lot of awesome guests. From Raven Tools, from SCM Rush, even the Tom and Dan show.
Yeah,
was pretty funny.
Awesome.
That was a really cool
We got to
one.
have them back.
We do. If Tom and Dan, shout out to you, man. Your show's really good. If you don't tune into Tom and Dan and you're in Orlando or in any of the stations that they're on, check them out. They're hilarious guys. They were awesome on our show. But there's really cool stuff, from the end of the year. Trust me, we started this thing out. We were a little rocky on the front end, but we got a lot better as we went along, and hopefully we continue to get better. But if you're new to SEO, there's a lot of cool stuff in there. I just highly suggest you check it out, especially the guests we had on. It'll definitely help you get off the ground, and you'll learn a lot.
Yep. And the guests we have coming.
Yes.
I mean, we've got more, and I've got, I'm still reaching out to some more people. We've got, the sky's the limit. So we hope that if maybe you're, like we said, a person of influence and knows your stuff, and you'd like to bring something unique to our show, please give us a call. We'd love to have you as a guest. What else, Caleb?
Man,
we're winding down here.
We are winding down.
Please forgive us. We are a little kind of down right now because it's our first show, and we're kind of
I think
getting back in the game.
Went through a lot of awesome information today. I'd like to put the stuff we did cover on the website, so you can kind of read through it, kind of what we think is going to be happening in 2016, stuff we're looking out for, challenges we see ahead, stuff like that. But yeah, man, awesome show today. We're definitely looking forward to the guests we have ahead. Go check out searchtalklive.com, see the lineup that we have, see what we have going on, and I think you'll be pretty impressed, and will not want to miss any of the shows coming up every Tuesday at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. Going to be good.
Okay. Now, I want to thank everybody for their support and listening to the show. Please tune in next week when we have Sean Puri from, I messed that up, from Blab, the co-founder of Blab, and he will be on, and then the following that is Rand Fishkin. So tune in next week. The number here, again, you have that. You can catch all the information you need to know about Search Talk Live on searchtalklive.com, or download us on iTunes. Got anything else?
No, man. Awesome show. Thank you so much for listening. Help us out here. Thanks to the Robert Palmer family of companies, robertpalmercompanies.com. Make sure you tune in next week. Have a great rest of the week. And if you got anything for us, hit us up.
Peace.
Search Talk Live is a presentation of the Robert Palmer family of companies.